Welcome back to another episode of Two Guys Questionable Credentials. Seeing as I'm the one doing the intro, you guys might have picked up that we're doing things a little differently today. Adam was not available, and luckily for myself, we got Mark here, also known as my dad, and we're finally gonna do an episode on Spider-Noir, only a month late. Dad, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Okay. So, I watched the show probably like a month ago now. So, I just started watching it again last night. So, I don't know how much you remember, but what did you think about it?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I've always been a fan of the different variations of Spider-Man. I'm not one of those people that has to be a truist. It's got to be red and blue, Spidey suit, Peter Parker.
Sure.
I've never been one like that. I've always enjoyed the different variations of it. So I was excited for it. And I like Nicolas Cage. Wasn't sure I was going to like him in this role, but I do like him as an actor.
Yeah, it's funny. I said the same thing to Adam like a week or so ago. The last time we recorded, it's funny. I think that's why I've always been open to like new interpretations of characters. Because like when I was a kid, I remember that Spider-Man show I watched all the time. Mm-hmm. But then there were already alternate versions of shows. Like there was like Batman Beyond and things like that. The thing I found funniest about it was I remember I saw an interview with Nicolas Cage before he came out. He said, I tried to approach the role as if I was a spider trapped in a man's body. And I thought that is the most Nicolas Cage thing he could say, but I'm here for it. And it makes sense given the rest of how the show plays out. I don't know, did you watch it in black and white or in color?
I watched the first episode in black and white because I know you and I had talked about it, and you had said you chose color because you wanted to see the cool 30s bright colors and all that. I wanted to see the first one in black and white, and then I went back, rewatched the first episode, and I did watch all the rest in color.
Okay, all right, yeah. We're I'm finally getting Haley to watch it, and so we're kind of just going back and forth throughout the whole thing. I think I would have liked black and white better if it had kind of had that like grainy, like the movies of that era. Like but I will say that the black and white and the way like the shadows work, I definitely stop fidgeting with things. I definitely find unique. And I really liked his origin story. So obviously he was Ben Reilly, not Peter Parker.
Right. Before we go on, do we have to say spoiler alerts as before we talk about this?
I guess maybe spoiler alert. Good point. Well, it's funny how many people I talk to. I'm like, oh, have you seen the new Spider-Man show? They're like, oh no, not yet. I'm like, okay, well, you should. It's different, and it's this era. And they're like, oh, that sounds really cool. Okay, you're gonna watch it? Probably not. Awesome. Plus, it's on Prime, and I don't know how many people have that one either. You have to have a dozen subscription services anymore. But so apparently, it's not related to the Spider-Verse movies, even though it is Nicolas Cage. They said, but I don't know. I think they left it open that it could be like obviously like in the opening line, he makes the comment about how someone had asked him if what universe he was from, but then obviously he was called Ben Reilly, and from a background perspective, apparently Sony in this weird deal they have with Marvel. They're very particular about like how Spider-Man is portrayed and where, and so they said that Amazon could not use Peter Parker.
Interesting. I did not know that, but I know they are trying to keep what little control over it they can. Yeah, it's funny for them to choose Ben Reilly as one of the variations of Spider-Man, which there are many that you can choose from. Ben Reilly was always one of my least favorite.
Oh, really?
Of Spider-Man.
Really?
Just because being a collector from the, I'm going to age myself here a little bit, mid 80s, when the very first comic book I picked up off of a rack was Spider-Man Sin Eater Part 3 of a 6-part series, and the reason I picked it up is it was Black Suit Spider-Man, so I found that very cool. But when Spider-Man in the 90s went through all the Clone Wars, where Jackal cloned, there was numerous clones, Kane and Ben Reilly and all that whole storyline actually got me away from comic books for quite some time. Something about it, maybe my simple mind, I couldn't handle the confusion, is he really the clone, is he not? And then coming to find out Peter Parker is the original, everybody else was a clone. So it got me away from it, but, nothing against the Ben Reilly character or Marco or any of the other guys. Not Mark. What was his name?
Kane?
Kane, that's who I meant, yeah. Or Kane, the clones. It just, it got me away from comic books. So in the back of my mind, Ben Reilly bad in my mind.
Gotcha, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sure you're not alone on that one. I don't know. I mean, he's not. I mean, Ben Reilly in the show is not really anything like the Ben Reilly in the comic.
Correct.
The thing I really the thing I really liked about the show was I was really curious how they were going to do his origin. I don't know how familiar you are with the comic Spider-Man Noir.
Not at all.
So in his origin, his powers are actually based more on magic.
Interesting.
So he, like, a lot of the elements are the same. In the comic, he's Peter Parker. He's a young man. Uncle Ben dies because he never gets to be happy and alive. But he ends up sparing a lot of details. He ends up trying to, take pictures. He's spying on some sort of, black market sale, and this spider totem breaks and unleashes an army of spiders, and they eat this guy alive. One gets away, bites Peter, and he passes out and has a dream of a spider god that says because he was pure of heart or he was righteous in his motives, he was gifted the powers of a spider. His powers were also a little different. He had webs, but he couldn't web swing with them. He actually could only kind of shoot them out to stop people or trap them. And because of that, he actually carried guns. He got his suit was actually incorporated elements of Uncle Ben's World War One fighter pilot suit, and I don't. They changed it over the years. They gave him the ability to web swing. I think he was able to stick to walls, but he didn't really do it because he was wearing thick combat boots. It was hard for him to.
Did he have a spider sense in the comic books also?
I think so,
or some variation,
something like that. And honestly, it was really cool. I've never read the comics, but I've read about them and watched videos talking about the character. But then it's kind of a shame because they've kind of took a hard left because to try to match the humorous character in Into the Spider-Verse. They've kind of made him kind of a
quippy, jokey,
campy
a little bit.
Right, which I loved in the movie, but after learning about his origin, I could see how a lot of people were frustrated with that.
Do you happen to remember did it get a good Rotten Tomatoes score? Do they do that for?
I don't know. I'll see if I can
how
look
it was
that up.
rated. I know it got a lot of positive feedback. Not watching any of the animated shows that you grew up watching, I enjoyed finally seeing a Spider-Man iteration where you got to see some characters you don't usually get to see. We've never seen Tombstone that I can recall, did we? In any of the Spider-Man movies?
Not in the movies.
And we never saw Silvermane
Yep.
in any of them. So I thought that was kind of very cool. I liked that the variations of the villains were the same.
Yeah.
What's his face? The Sandman. What's his name? Flint Marko.
Yep.
Same. Tombstone, Lonnie. That was his name in the comics and stuff. But yet, the guy who played kind of the Electro character wasn't really Electro.
No, yeah,
he was something totally different. So I was kind of like, well, that's a weird choice. Why wouldn't you make him Maximilian? I think was his name or something. I can't remember what Electro's real name was, but
So actually, I just pulled it up. I mean, I don't ever look at Rotten Tomatoes, so I don't know what this means.
that's what everybody talks about. I don't pay that attention either, but 92% is pretty darn good.
Yeah, 92% is the average tomato meter, and then 90% is popcorn meter. So overall, really good. I liked Robbie's character.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You've never seen Robbie really in any of the movies either.
And like really
Nice
like
to not
acting.
have to see Jonah.
Yeah.
Because Jonah's always been in the guy. And then Robbie, and in the comics, Robbie was a friend of Spider-Man's.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I didn't think about the fact that like the era we are in when this show takes place, because the racism kind of went right over my head. Like I didn't think about, I don't know, I watched in a video, I can't think of all the examples, but like when he finally gets his desk in the whatever the paper is,
bullpen, they call it.
It's a pile of crap, but he's so happy, and everybody in the office is mad to see him. I'm trying to think what else. I know you had previously said that you were not a fan of Nicolas Cage's accent.
Well, so I like Nicolas Cage, always have. The man has made more movies than any actor out there, really. Excuse me. But some of the worst movies, in my mind, of his are the ones where he does a weird accent. Like Con Air, while a very cool concept, that southern accent of his just fills me with rage. I can't stand it. And I wasn't sure after watching the pilot, the first episode, it wasn't a pilot, that I was going to be able to listen to his accent, but I got over it. And it was fine. But I remember I talked to you after I watched the first episode, and I was like, I don't know, this accent is really kind of bothering me. I don't know what it is about his Nicolas Cage and his accents whenever he's trying to... But it worked. It worked because it fit in the time frame. He was that gumshoe, private dick, and that's just the way they talked. That was the way they talked in that era, in the 30s, like that. So... It worked.
Yeah, and he was kind of almost cartoony at some points, which makes sense because of his
intentional. I think
because I believe he said at one point he learned to talk from watching movies.
Yes.
There was Robbie, Spider-Man. It's funny. So like I said, I watched it once by myself, and then I'm currently watching it with Haley. And it cracks me up because I don't know why I didn't notice it, but after you pointed it out, it's like all of a sudden now all I can think about is how I really have no idea what he's saying. I didn't notice it the first time around, but now I watched the first episode and it's like it's so apparent that it's like in your face. I guess some fun facts. The actor who played Robbie, he was, if you ever saw that show New Girl, he was one of the main guys on there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I recognize. Yeah, see, you've always been good at this game. Where has this person been before this?
Right.
I am horrible at this game. but you'll tell me every movie or TV show this actor's been in.
That's the only
Up
one
to
I
that.
know. But
Nah,
the only other person I can like definitively point out was Silverman. I don't know if you've watched the Harry Potter movies.
I did.
He played Mad Eye Moody,
Oh,
the guy
yep.
with the little funny eyeball.
Yep.
It was funny also to point that out to Haley last night because I'm like, do you know who that is? Don't.
Oh yeah,
know.
she is the
Harry
queen
Potter,
of Harry
right.
Potter. Oh, that probably got you in the doghouse, knowing something that she did about Harry Potter. Well, more importantly, now your wife is also a fan of many comics.
Mm-hmm.
What did she think of the pilot episode?
She liked it. It was funny because I showed it to her, and at that point when it wrapped up, I think it was like 10 after 11 at night, and she was like, "Okay, I'm in," and I'm like, "I don't know if I can do another one right now," and she's like, "No. Let's because we're trying to be better about finishing shows, and we got so many shows we've started, and like trying to binge shows before they leave streaming services, and but yeah, so far she likes it too. We didn't really get too deep into it because we were heading to bed, but
I got a question for you, and this is something I found myself wondering. The character who played Kat, I can't remember what her last name was in the movie, the singer.
the Hardy.
Yeah. Anybody else catch the play? Felicia Hardy,
I mean,
Black
I did.
Cat, and I actually sat there and wondered, are we going to see maybe some variation? Because first I picked up on it right away when they said Hardy. I'm like, no way.
Right.
Is this going to be the Black Cat, Felicia Hardy?
I
was
did-
kind of disappointed, so I worked myself up, keep thinking as we went further on that eventually it was going to be revealed, but unfortunately for me, it was not.
I did pick up on that because she was kind of not extremely similar, but she had a similar role in the comics also.
Oh, okay.
I think she ran the nightclub. She wasn't just a singer. What else?
So do you know anything about Silvermane from the comic books?
Not really.
So, Silvermane, so obviously Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, was the big baddie, ran all New York City in many of the Marvel, between Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, he was like their number one. This guy, Silvermane, ran maybe the Harlem side or something. I believe, if I remember correctly, he did run part of New York City. Fisk allowed him to be. So he was a boss. He was a gang boss, a leader. Much more violent and ruthless in the comics. While in the show he did, shoot people, but, and Tombstone was, I believe, one of his henchmen, if I remember correctly.
Oh, in the comics.
In the
also?
comics
Okay.
also. Because I believe, if I remember correctly, again, this is going back quite a few years, Tombstone was supposed to kill Wilson Fisk because he was indestructible, and that was one of the things Silvermane wanted to take over all of New York City from Fisk, from Kingpin. And when Kingpin was banished to Europe for all those years before his son took over the Rose or whatever his name was, Silvermane ran things for a while before Kingpin got his foothold back in New York City. So that was kind of neat. Like I said, upset with the fact that wasn't Electro,
Yeah.
with the electricity powers. Awesome the way they did the Sandman. It didn't have to be that he was totally made of sand. Nice way of looking at it. Nice to see Tombstone because he did have an unbreakable skin. Maybe a little disappointed that he wasn't albino like he was in the comic books.
I
you know
thought,
what I mean?
yeah,
I'm like, boy, I wish they could have. But all right, that's fine. Take your take, make your spin on it, make it your own, and that's I got no problem with that. The whole Spider-Man debate. Web shooters versus organic out of his arms.
Right.
Everybody lost their ever-loving mind when, which actor was it? Was the one
Tobey Maguire.
had organic webs?
Yeah.
Again, take it easy. Let them take a little creative licensing in this stuff.
No, absolutely. I told Haley if it wasn't for the fact that you were quit smoking however many years ago, I
10
told
years,
Haley
baby.
when I was watching it, and thinking about recording this, I was like, man, I just want to sit down in a trench coat and just smoke a pack of cigarettes. I watch this. I'm sitting there with Haley, and I go, halfway through the episode, I'm like, hey, you got a pack of smokes? Obviously, she didn't.
Yeah,
This show just makes me want to chain smoke, and she's like, that's probably why they stopped putting cigarettes in TV shows.
Oh yeah,
commercials.
Well, if you think about it, probably that show was the most you've seen people smoking in anything in a long time. It's become such a taboo thing that you really don't. And if you do show somebody smoking, it's usually for a very quick, short amount of time. It's never like a whole episode, which is, you'd swear Nicolas Cage was Cage smoking in this? No.
Oh yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he lighting one off the next one? That's how you know. That's how you know he's a real smoker from the 30s.
Yeah, I thought. I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, but that's not unnew for the show. But I also he was so funny too. Like I know a lot of that is the writing, but I keep seeing the clip when he's pretending the phone booth is broken, talking to the lady eating the hot dog, and the montage of how many times his secretary
caught
him
doing some very awkward things in the Spider-Noir costume. But yeah,
which I loved her character
knew?
too.
You knew?
When we were watching it last night, I forgot how funny she was from the get-go when I can't remember the characters. Winston comes to hire Riley, or he's interrogating Riley, and he pulls his gun out and he's like, give me one good reason. And he was like, how about 36? And the secretary's got a gun pointed to his head. She's like, actually it's only 32. But still, she was funny. Everybody I thought was great. The only thing I got kind of confused with the whole red dot on the money and how they sorted that all out. I guess I wasn't paying that close attention. I know that he set up Winston, I think his name was, but I really I had a hard time following exactly what happened, how he had set him up.
So the way I remember it is Silvermane, when he paid his men, depending on who you were, you got a red dot somewhere on the money. So his one henchman would have a red dot in the lower left-hand corner of all of the money he gave him. Another henchman, lower right. Just because he was paranoid and wanted to know if somebody was screwing him over. So that way he knew if that money turned up in a snitch's hand or in the police or something, that maybe there's something going on. It was a means of control, as far as what I understand of watching it. It was a means of control, so he knew.
Okay.
Who he could trust and who he couldn't. So, is there going to be another season? Have you heard anything about that?
Not. I don't know. I have not heard anything about it. I hope so,
because these streaming services are infamous for finding a good show,
right,
putting out a season of it, and then saying cancel it,
right, killing it.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
I'm trying to think of if I have any last thoughts about it. I think I touched on everything.
I would say even if you don't know Spider-Man, the character or anything about it, you could watch this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with you. The writing was excellent, very funny. Scenery, colors. It was well done. Very well done.
I wonder how he managed to keep the fedora on his head while he was swinging
maybe that
around.
Was his superpower, is it sticky top of the head or something? Who knows? Maybe he gave it a shot of web fluid on his scalp to keep it there before he took off swinging.
That's
unfortunately they didn't. And to see him use the webs more, just webbing people up, or webbing and pulling them towards them, and kind of remind me a little bit of the Get over here from Mortal Kombat.
Scorpion.
Where he would. It kind of reminded. It was a different, something a little different.
Yeah.
Than what we've seen in all the other movies. He did a little bit of web swinging, but mostly he stuck to the shadows. He hid a lot. He hid on the ceiling or hid here and there under the bridge. He just hid and just tried to get away. So it was just a different take. But that's, instead of being colorful and in your face, he just kind of wanted to blend into the shadows and only get involved when he had to. And then, obviously he gave it up for however many years because of... I never caught the girlfriend's name or the fiance's name that died. Was that any homage to the original?
I'm not sure. It didn't...
It might be something, if you're watching the show for the first time, see if you can figure out if there was any homage to that, like her name was Gwen Stacy or something. I would have recognized that, but I don't know if there was any signification or not.
Ruby J. Williams.
Nothing that comes to my mind.
Not that I know of. Let's see. Why not? Ruby. I wouldn't even know what...
Spider-Man. See if anything comes up. Other than it's probably going to come Noir.
Yeah, I think she's just
new character.
Yeah, I think so. It was Ruby Williams and Spider-Man. Oh yeah, Spider-Noir. So yeah, it looks like she was an original character, and wouldn't be worth so it looks like Andrew Garfield is the only Spider-Man that can't catch his girlfriend without snapping her neck. I just found that humorous when she jumped. Which also I liked that little homage to is it Superman 2 where Lois throws herself out the window to prove he's Superman. Okay, well, actually look at that. We're about 28 minutes. Probably gonna be closer to 26 when I edit out all of my awkward pauses and
clicking of things.
But really, nobody thought I was attention deficit. Weird. But okay, so engagement. If you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, leave a review. If you have YouTube, leave a comment down below. If what did you think of the show? Do you think we nailed it on the head? Do we have no idea what we're talking about? Like and subscribe. If you feel like you want to reach out to us, we have an email, 2guysnocreds@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at 2guys questionable credentials. And if I can manage to keep Dad from running away in the next 5 minutes, we might hear from him again next week. So, all right. Goodbye. All right, that's the show. Thanks for hanging out with us for another episode of 2 Guys Questionable Credentials. If you laughed, learned something, or are now somehow more confused than when you started, then we've done our job. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend or an enemy. We're not picky. And remember, everything discussed here is just conversation, speculation, and 2 people confidently wandering through topics they may or may not fully understand. Please take none of this as legal, medical, or emotional advice. We'll see you next time.